What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Wisdom Wayne podcast. I'm your host, Matt Velvet, and I just wanted to get on here and have a little drink with you and share some of my thoughts for the day. So, let me just get this open if I can. Today, we are sipping on this Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. I've never had this particular one with the gold label. I've only had the black label single barrel, and when we did the Jigs pick when I worked at the liquor store, that one was really good. But I really just like Jack Daniel's products because they have that nice banana note, like the Gentleman Jack and the 10-year, which I wish I could find the 10-year because that is like my favorite, but it's so hard to find. So yeah, cheers. Let me know in the comments below what you're sipping on, and yeah, let's see how it is. All right, so today I kind of want to talk about anxiety. All right. That nose is really nice. I can already smell the banana. Oh my God. This might be a new favorite of mine. So yeah, cool. All right, anxiety. So I'm really excited to be launching this podcast, and I've been consistent with posting YouTube videos. So that's really exciting. But today I was kind of, feeling some anxiety about kind of, what my podcast would be and how long they should be, how long a podcast has to be. All these things were going through my mind. And when I saw the psychic in Savannah, she told me that I overthink too much, which is definitely true. So I decided to get on here and kind of just, be a little vulnerable. Sometimes I have a hard time being vulnerable, and I try to make everything perfect. And, I'm like, what is the topic today? What are we going to talk about? But really, it doesn't matter. Nothing really matters. I like to say that because it's true. Everything matters, but also nothing matters. So, yeah, cheers to that. So, I know a lot of people. Oh God, I just realized I forgot to plug my microphone in. So I'm gonna do that real quick and enhance the audio, hopefully. 1 second. All right, we're gonna keep rolling with it because that's showbiz, baby. So where were we? Yeah. So I've pretty much experienced anxiety for as long as I can remember. I just didn't really know what it was when I was younger. Um, you know, and when I would get headaches from all the stress and anxiety, I thought that everyone felt that way. I thought I was just like tired or something. So it wasn't until I was like 18, but before we get there, one of the craziest moments of anxiety I had, I remember it was when I was in middle school. My first day of middle school, I was so nervous, so anxious that I threw up in the toilet, in the public toilet at school. I remember I had a bean burrito that day, and it was disgusting, terrifying. But I'm like, why am I so worried about school? Why am I worried about people? But it's just like one of those things that's in your brain that you have to. I'm not going to say you can't control it because you can, but it just takes a lot of work. And if you don't really know what the problem is, then it's hard to kind of work towards finding a solution. And I didn't really know what the problem was. So I was just like, this is embarrassing. So yeah, around the time I turned 18, my senior year of high school, I finally got diagnosed with general anxiety and started taking medication for it. Um, and that was through my like family doctor. So yeah, I started taking that and went off to college. And I didn't really know that you couldn't just cold turkey quit taking anxiety medication. So I did, and it was terrible. And it was kind of a traumatizing event. Um, so I was kind of scared to take medication after that. So I was kind of just like um, going through life, with just dealing with anxiety. And that was no good. I should have just, found a good therapist, psychiatrist, and stuff like that. But I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. It's whack. So yeah, fast forward a little bit. I, well, I mean, so after I stopped taking the medication cold turkey, um, things didn't go very well. I ended up getting Baker acted. But luckily, we had good insurance. So my mom was able to get me into this mental health slash rehab center, and it was very helpful. It was like kind of like a resort, honestly, and I would go back. Just a nice getaway. They had great food, and they actually helped and gave you tools to use, which was really cool. I did step foot into the state-run mental facility in Orlando, and it was terrifying. It was like a prison. But unfortunately, that's the only option a lot of people have, which is an issue, but I think we're slowly, especially from when I was 18, we've done a lot of work in getting better mental health. Um, and it doesn't seem as like taboo or anything anymore, because so many people deal with mental health issues, and it's really not a big deal. It's not like you're broken or anything. It's just something that we have to deal with. And there's a lot of great options for help these days. And you can get a therapist and psychiatrist on the internet. You could just talk to them over like a Zoom call. But yeah, when I was at the rehab facility, it was really cool. They taught us about like guided imagery meditation, which is really helpful. We did yoga, and we just like learned all these different techniques to use, which was very nice, very helpful. Um, but after that kind of experience and being forced into there against my own will, I kind of didn't want to do any of that anymore because I kind of, had some like PTSD, I guess, from it or something like that. Um, so after that, I was around 19, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just like keep it low key and just suffer through this because I don't want to deal with like I don't want to tell people how I'm feeling and be locked up and put away again because that stuff was scary. Um, when I was Baker acted from UCF, I went to UCF counseling to get help. I was going through a lot of changes. It's around the time I got kicked out of church. I lost my church family. I was away from my actual family, and I was away from all my friends. I knew a couple people at UCF, but they were older than me and they were kind of doing their own thing. So luckily, I had amazing roommates. I had three roommates. We had like a four-bedroom dorm apartment kind of thing. And God bless them because they helped me through a lot. They were amazing. So I was really lucky in that department. But yeah, after all that, I was kind of like, I don't want to deal with doctors. I don't want to tell people how I really feel because I might end up in that situation again. Oh, well, sorry, my ADD. I was talking about getting locked up. The only time I've ever been arrested, I guess, was when I was Baker acted. I was at the UC. Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna loop back around to what I was talking about. So yeah, I went to the UCF Counseling Center because I thought I could open up and be honest and kind of tell them, but I was kind of naive and I didn't know that, saying certain things could be like a trigger to have you Baker acted. But I did learn that. They sent some cops and came and arrested me, and put me under like a psychiatric hold, and they put me in handcuffs in the middle of campus, broad daylight, put me in the back of a cop car and drove me away. And it was kind of crazy, but also I was like feeling my Lady Gaga fantasy, and like paparazzi just like taking me away, all the people staring at me like, ugh. One day I'd like to make a movie of my life, and that scene is going to be very dramatic, very theatrical, very Matte Velvet. But yeah, that was crazy. And yeah, it kind of turned me off from the whole medical world. And I was like, I'm just going to deal with this on my own. And I kind of did handle it. I used some of the techniques that I learned there. I really got into meditation. I was just like going out in nature, going on hikes, and just finding other more natural ways to kind of deal with it, just because I was so like turned off by using medication or seeing doctors or anything, which is unfortunate because I think it could have helped me get to this place I am at now a lot faster. So if anyone out there is dealing with that currently, feel free to reach out and I can do my best to kind of point you in the right direction, because there are so many great resources now, even more now than before whenever I was going through it. And just recently, I saw a psychiatrist and a therapist online, and before my most recent therapist, the most I would ever do is like 2 sessions with one therapist, but I did like a full cycle of therapy with my most recent one, and I graduated therapy, which was a very fulfilling kind of moment for me. Yeah, there's no shame in it, and I think that we should have more of an open conversation about mental health, and just, it's like not a big deal. And I think it is getting to that point. So what led me to my most recent kind of run with psychiatry. So it was like in the past couple years that my anxiety got really bad again, and I think it was when I was promoted to the most recent position, management position I was in. It was just a lot, I'm a very sensitive person, and some of the things that I had to do in that role were like really, really tough. Having to fire people. I didn't fire them, but I was a part of firing 6 people within my first year, in my first store of being a manager. And that was really tough, because some of them I didn't agree with, and I was like, it kind of sucked because I couldn't give my side of it because I couldn't talk about it. And then just having to do evaluations and having to, have coaching with people. It just, I don't know. I think some of the things just didn't sit right with me and my conscience, and it was really tough. So I started getting really bad anxiety, and I would start having these anxiety attacks at work. where I would feel like I was like in a dream or something, and I was just like dissociating, and it was like really scary, and it felt like I was gonna pass out, and so I didn't know what it was, and then I started going to the doctor, and then we slowly started figuring out what it was. But it got to a point where like I couldn't even go for a walk outside without having an anxiety attack or a panic attack. So I was like, yeah, we need to do something about this. And since I was 18, I didn't want to get on anxiety medication. But at this point, I was like, you know what? I don't want to feel like this anymore, so let's just go ahead and do it. And I decided to do therapy as well, and I'm very glad I did because now I'm in such a better place, and I kind of wish I would have done all this sooner, but you know, it's never too late, and any time is a good time to restart and kind of reset your life. So yeah, that's what I did. That was like almost 2 years ago. But along with the medication, I did things like I went to Texas with my friend Will, and I did a spirit quest. And then after that, a couple months after that, I did a sweat lodge, which is like a Native American spiritual practice, and that was very helpful and very grounding. And yeah, just like learning about nature-based therapy and healing has been very helpful as well. Um, there are so many options, but it's just one of those things, it's you got to maintain it. And it can be tough, and sometimes you could feel like you don't want to deal with it, but it's just one of those things you got to deal with. Um, so yeah, but over the years, my anxiety has kind of manifested in different ways. Like I was saying, in middle school when I was throwing up from being so anxious and nervous, um, to, like dissociating and having the anxiety attacks. And when I was in Orlando, I started having sleep paralysis, which was terrifying. For those of you who don't know, sleep paralysis is usually a result of not getting enough sleep, or if you're about to fall asleep or about to wake up, um, you are kind of like stuck in between REM cycles, and uh, your eyes will open and you'll be able to see around you, but your body's still sleeping, and so it's like you feel paralyzed. And a lot of people say that they see apparitions or like a demon or something. Luckily, I never saw any of that, but it's still very terrifying. I remember waking up and looking around my room and trying to scream for help, and like try to grab my phone next to me and try to throw it across the room, but I couldn't. Um, but yeah, luckily I haven't had that in years. But they say that anxiety can cause that and not getting enough sleep. Um, and yeah, anxiety is like, ugh, takes a toll on you. But there are a lot of good tools and resources out there. I use growtherapy.com. It's a website, not sponsored, but they are great and very easy to use. Sometimes it's just good to have someone to talk to about things, and have them help you come up with a solution, because that's what they went to school for. That's what they're trained to do. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. But aside from the anxiety, I'm now like a month and a half into being unemployed, being retired, and it's been really cool. I have so much freedom, and it's really nice because I can just up and go to Savannah on the weekend like I did with Dalton, or if someone says, hey, do you want to come do this last minute thing, then I can, because I don't have to, worry about my schedule or worry about going to work. But going back to what I was saying in the beginning about having anxiety about doing the podcast, I think what it was kind of me putting this artificial pressure and these expectations on myself that nobody else is at the moment. Nobody, like right now, I don't think anybody knows that I published the podcast on Spotify, which is on Spotify, yay. We're working on Apple Podcasts, but it's still under review. But my first episode is on Spotify. So yeah, it was a short episode, but I was thinking, it doesn't really matter because I thought, podcasts had to be like 30 minutes or an hour just because that's what the norm is. But I don't think there's any rules that say they can't be like 9 minutes or 15 minutes or, 2 hours if you want. I'm going to kind of just do what I feel and try to create content that's relatable and that's meaningful and hopefully helps people or is at least entertaining. So if there's anything that you would like to hear about or like me to share about, please let me know. But yeah, I'm gonna just keep going and seeing what the vibe's like and seeing what people like, and seeing what works, what doesn't work. But I think the most important part is to just keep going. And I think that's true with everything in life. Fear can hold us back so much. I've been really scared of like what people will think, because my YouTube videos have been consistent and I've been doing really well over there. And so now I'm trying to venture into this podcast realm. And I kind of was doing podcast episodes, especially the first couple like car episodes where I'm just talking to the camera. So it's not much different, but for some reason putting the word podcast on it makes it into this whole different thing. So I'm like, am I good enough for this? Are people gonna like it? Is it gonna tank my YouTube? Am I trying too hard? Am I thinking too much? Yes, I'm thinking too much. But I do appreciate everyone who has been supportive though, through this journey of being in front of the camera more and sharing my story. I have a lot of stories to tell. I've been through a lot of life experiences. So that's why I call it Wisdom Wayne. I'm hoping that I can share my wisdom with you. And maybe we can do something where like someone has a problem or something and I can kind of give them advice or something like that. I don't know. If you have any ideas of what we could do on this podcast, let me know. I'm really looking forward to going to Hawaii. It's getting closer to that kind of time. I've kind of just been feeling out the vibes for that. And so many people want to come visit me there. And I don't know how long I will be there, but I think it would be cool to have people come and visit me. Dalton wants to go, my brother wants to go, my mom wants to go, Will wants to go, and Will might be moving there as well, but maybe to a different island. So I think it'll be really cool to get some content out there and kind of share my experience of moving there. I was originally going to be moving with my brother, but he is no longer moving because he wants to travel around the country doing nursing, and kind of just stay on the mainland. So I'm going to be moving out there myself, and my plan is to just stay for a month and see what it's like, see how I like it, and kind of decide from there what I want to do. And I think it's amazing that I have that freedom to do that, to just be able to say, okay, let's see what this vibe is like. If I like it, I'll stay. If not, I'll move back. Because I'll still have this place here in Gainesville, Florida. So yeah, a lot to look forward to. I'm gonna try not to be anxious and try to just live in the moment. But yeah, I feel much better after getting all that off my chest. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Thank you for this therapy session. Uh, and I will see you in the next one. This has been the Wisdom Wayne podcast. I'm your host, Matt Velvet. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat at Matt Velvet, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Matt Velvet Official, and subscribe on Spotify and all that good stuff. Whatever you want to do, just support me. Help a fellow gentleman out like myself. And also, if you're sipping on something good tonight, just let me know in the comments what you're having. This Jack Daniels is very good. I would highly recommend it. So, with all of that being said, thank you so much for indulging in this wisdom session, and I shall see you on the next one. Goodbye.